Foster Maatschek, Eline Wildebeest,
Jolien Rip,
Efin and Landmeter. And we'd like to tell you something about
the color purple. The book begins with a letter to God from young Celie. She's many times raped by her father, sees her mother beaten, and fears for her sister's Nettie's life. She gives birth to her father's children. He immediately sells her children to other people.
You better not never tell nobody but God. It'll kill your mama.
Her father also sells her into marriage with an older man with 4 children, who is named Mr. Albert. He forces her to clean and cook and look after his dirty children. He also beats her. Meanwhile, Mr. Albert really wants to have Nettie instead of Celie, and Nettie runs away to the redwood.
Nothing but death can keep me from it!
As her life with Mr. Albert progresses, the children grow. Harpo, the eldest son, falls in love with a young girl named Sophia. Sophia already is pregnant and speaks her mind. Harpo and Sophia eventually marry and move into next door to Celie. Celie keeps writing to God and Nettie, explaining her life with Mr. Albert. Suddenly, Mr. Albert brings his old flame, Chuck Avery, home with him, because she's ill and has no other place to go. Celie immediately finds herself attracted to her. After an initial introduction of terror, the two become close friends. Eventually, Sophia leaves Harpo and her 4 children behind to live with her sister Odessa. Harpo learns how to live alone, and of his old house he makes a juke joint, where Chuck Avery sings every night. The juke joint is a big business and a great success. One evening at Harpo's, Sophia returns with a new boyfriend. Harpo brings his new girlfriend, Squeak, to the joint, and everyone is together again. When the dancing begins, Sophia punches Squeaks in the face. He flees to town again. The family hears later that week that Sophia found herself in an argument with the mayor's wife, punched the mayor, and was thrown into jail after a beating by the police. She is left there for years. Chuck and Celie fall in love. They also discover that Mr. Albert has been hiding all of Nettie's letters, who have been sent over years. Celie is so angry that she develops a violent feeling towards him. They begin to read the letters and learn all about Nettie's new and adventurous life. When she ran away from Mr. Albert years ago, she found Corinne and Samuel, 2 Christian missionaries, who took her in. They adopted 2 children, Adam and Olivia, are in fact Celie's biological children taken at birth. They traveled to England and America to teach and help the youth of Africa. In Africa, they live in the village of Olinka, where they find a new home. The children, Adam and Olivia, grow and learn and discover new theories on life and religion. Corinne falls ill with the African fever and eventually dies. But years after that, Nettie and Samuel are getting married. At this point, they decide to return to home to Nettie's family. Adam and Olivia have become young adults, and Adam falls in love with an African girl named Stacia. He brings her to America and eventually marries her. Chuck takes Celie, her new husband Grady, and Squeak to Memphis to escape of Albert. Celie is in heaven as she lives in a beautiful house with Chuck and discovers a method of making pants. Her pants become a success and she opens Volkspants. She also learns that her cruel father, who is not her biological father, has died and left her the old house. Unfortunately, Mr. Albert hands Celie a letter which says that the ship on which Nettie and her family has sailed has sunk. Celie is miserable. She feels completely alone. When she is fixing her house, Chuck tells her that she's in love with someone else and just wants a 6-month relationship with the young man. Celie is broken-hearted and spends the rest of her time with Mr. Albert. He has grown, changed, found religion, making him a bearable companion. Eventually, Jacques returns to Celie's home, wanting her love forever, and Nettie arrives on her doorstep with her children. Celie's life is now complete, despite the beating of Mr. Albert, the rapings of her father, and the years of separation with her young sister Nettie.
Celie. In the beginning, Celie is a 14-year-old girl who's not that educated but willing to. She's being raped quite a lot in her youth, and because of that she has 2 children of her stepfather, but he gave them away. In the beginning, when she's with Mr., she's very obedient, but along the story goes, as she becomes friends with Chuck Avery, she's becoming a strong and even independent woman. Nettie. Nettie is the younger sister of Celie, and she stands up more for herself than Celie did in the beginning. But then she got sent away and she ends up in Africa with Samuel and Corinne. With them she does missionary work and even ends up being Samuel's lover. When she comes back to Celie, she's a little changed, but not that much. She has quite a good life. Mr. The husband of Celie is called Mr., but he's called Albert by Chuck Avery. In the beginning he's a cruel man towards women and especially towards Celie. He has a mistress as well, and that's Chuck Avery. When Celie gets more independent, she stands up for herself and she doesn't want to be with Mr. anymore. After a while, Mr. realizes he treated Celie totally wrong, and Celie and him even end up being friends. Chuck Avery. She is the mistress of Mr. She's a blues singer and a very independent woman. She doesn't really change in the story, but she's the hero for Celie and she helps Celie a lot with becoming an individual.
The following quote comes from page 160. But I feels the days. My daddy Lynch, my mama crazy, all my little half-brothers and sisters no kin to me. My children not my sister and brother. Pa not pa. You must be sleep. This quote shows us that the relationships between Celie and her family are very complicated. The man she thought who was her father isn't her father. He married her mother after she and Nettie were born. She has 2 children from this man, but apparently they are not her brother and sister, which she thought. He has a lot of children from her stepmother, but these half-brothers and sisters are no kin to her. Their real father had been a successful businessman who was lynched by some of the local white merchants when they got jealous.
In one part of the book, the letters 61 to 69, Nettie is in Africa. She stays with the Alinka tribe, which is a primitive tribe in the jungle. Why did Alice Walker include the Alinkas into her book? Well, one reason can be that she wanted to keep Nettie in her story. Nettie must have had a reason to write letters to Celie. If Nettie had a boring life, she would have stopped writing letters to Celie a long time ago. Another reason can be that Nettie sees her own people. The forefathers of Nettie and Celie came from West Africa and were imported to America. The Alinka tribe is a tribe in West Africa. So that also explains why Nettie and Celie speak Black English. It also can be that Alice Walker includes Alinkas in her book because in America, black people stand lower in rank than white people. By the Alinkas, with the Alinkas, it's the same situation. So Alice Walker wants us to see that it's the same situation and that black people stand lower in rank than white people.